The controversial bill around the job quota in Karnataka created such a furor, and with such a backlash, the Karnataka government had to put or hit the pause button there. But there are deep-set concerns, and we need to get into the controversy, get into the depths of it. And to unravel this, I'm joined by top corporate honchos. Thank you so much for joining us. And let me actually introduce you to them. Starting with Mr. Arvind Sawant, founder and managing director from B&B Workplace. And then we have Mr. Jagannath Rao, founder and director, facility management, global network. And we have Jayaram Govindaya, who needs no introduction, founder, corporates in real estate. And we are also joined by Mr. Manjunath Baswaraj, corporate real estate professional. Now, without further ado, we begin the show because we are talking about the bill. I'm Pratiba Raman. Let me introduce myself as well. And we begin the show today. My first question is, when you heard this news, what were your first thoughts? When you saw this controversial bill, did you think that this is a boon or a bane?
When we heard this news yesterday, by heart I liked it, but by my mind, I am not in compliance with this bill. I tell you, Pratibha, Bangalore has around 2 million IT employees. When you pass a bill like this, you need to be extremely inclusive and you need to consult people who are in charge of the IT and ITES industries. You know, Bangalore has the big bigs of IT and ITES. My smallest recommendation is that government can pass anything and everything, but they need to consult the industry honchos, take the inclusivity. We have NASSCOM, who's the governing body for IT and ITES. Talk to people and then make sure that this is an inclusive bill. That's where I stop, but I can add a lot of things once I hear from
in fact, talking about NASSCOM, please hold your thought together. Talking about NASSCOM, interestingly, they did mention that this would drive companies away. So my next question would be around what would really companies think of when they want to set up, say, Karnataka as their base or Bangalore as their base?
The talent pool. I mean, that's most important thing. And I think if it is not diversified, if it is not coming from all over the world, I would say, Bangalore is actually, a brand which is globally known and known for the talent, and that has been there from like decades. And I think if we don't have this resource pool available, companies will actually start thinking whether they have to come to Karnataka or in Bangalore.
But interestingly, one of the ministers who I was talking to did mention that what really makes companies come to Bengaluru, the biggest thing is human resource. And we are talking about enough talent here in Bangalore, so why not have Kannadigas the perfect opportunity there?
See, I am from Bangalore, so I've been seeing this industry for a very long time. I think about 10 years back also we had the similar issue had come up, giving priority to the localites. The thing is there are several angles to it and there are several issues to that and we need to look at it. One is the employability. So now we have so many colleges, engineering colleges, there's a huge turnout of people. But as soon as they come, are they employable? Then there's a demand and supply gap. At what time people are available? When I have a project, when a company has a project, at that time are they available or not? These are the issues which needs to be looked at. Before, getting into the issue of whether the localites should be given priority or not, look at the merits also and also be genuine and see that promote the localites so that they are employable and they also get the equal opportunity to be in the industry.
Before I actually get into the merit versus reservation, let me give you a statistic. In March 2023, the unemployment rate in the state was just 2.3%, while all India figures were 7.8%. So how do you address that employability gap here?
If you look at Bangalore as an IT city, yes, our unemployment is very low because we have a high talent pool, because we have people coming from different parts of India. And if you look at companies like Wells Fargo, JPMC, TCS, Infosys, the big wigs, the Cognizant, when they recruit an employee, they map the skills. It doesn't happen just like that. And if they interview a couple of people for a higher position, it's very difficult for them to employ them. But if you look at all over India, the ratio, yes, all over India, you cannot find that kind of a talent pool. Why? You asked a question, why Bangalore is liked? Because we have tremendous talent pool in Bangalore and that needs to be controlled. But if you look at Kannadigas as such, we are brainy guys. But what happens with most of us, if you look at most of the organizations, the young employee team is all Kannadigas. What happens with them is that they want to serve in the junior level, then the middle level. When it comes to senior management, they migrate to the different countries. That's the challenge we have with Bangalore.
I think I just want to add to what Jay has mentioned here, that Bangalore is a destination for a lot of companies. One is not just because of the availability of talent pool, but also the maturity of the talent pool, right? So we have matured as a city, as a human resources over a period of time, not just because we're being just Kannadigas, right? So it's a combination of everybody who has come together to this city, and we have learned from each other, and I think it should continue to go that way.
My next topic is about merit. Sorry, you want to add something to it?
There are
Yes.
two things actually. See, one is the whole thing the IT industry operates is all customer centric. See, the customer wants something, can we deliver it? Do we have the people? So suddenly when a project comes and need about 100 people. So how do you think about all these things? So the HR plays an important role here. Their job is to get the people because they have a KRA to achieve, right? So that time, this also should be looked at in a policy-wise, HR, what kind of policy they have, how they look at the localites, and how they also give the equal opportunity to them. So that, based on their merit, they can be recruited.
Everybody is talking about merit. So merit versus reservation. When you look at that, in fact, interestingly, most of the ministers did mention that we are only talking about Kannadigas with merit. We are not saying that, you can just randomly recruit any kind of a Kannadiga. We are talking about those with talent and has to be a Kannadiga.
So when you have, the country, India, on the bright spot, the world is looking at us. Now, to fulfill that, the gap is widening in terms of resource pool, in terms of quality of resources. How will you fill that gap? I mean, only one state talent may not support that or help. You need to look into other states. You need to give, you need to collect them together. Bangalore, as I said, is like always overlooked by, the companies outside India. And that's the main reason. I mean, you need to give the opportunities to others as well. Competition, healthy competition is another very important point where for the customer and being customer centric, you have to have these healthy competition, and when you have open field to play, you give the opportunity to everyone to play, and then the quality of production is improved. Innovations improved.
In fact, I was having a very interesting conversation with one of my gym mates who also happens to be a government official, and she was telling me that she wanted to be in a private sector, and when she joined the company, the boss who she was reporting to was only recruiting persons belonging to his or her community, and that left her baffled, and she is a Kannadiga, a proud one at that, and she was feeling extremely bad, and she was feeling extremely proud that this bill came about. So when there are sentiments like this doing the rounds in, say, from the gym to every road that you walk into, what are your thoughts on that? How do you address that then?
See, it's also about the hiring manager. Okay, see, hiring manager gets about 50 people, and let's say he is from non-Karnataka, okay, he's not from Karnataka, and there are people who have been given to him candidates to choose because he's the final authority to say that I want these people. So that bias also could play an important role here because let's say I'm X and I will only take about X people, okay. If I'm a localite, maybe I'll take only localites. So this bias has to be addressed in the industry. Maybe that is the feeling which Kannadigas are carrying. Okay.
Now, how do you address that? What are your suggestions? So the bill is no solution to that then?
See, if you look at companies of higher cadre, higher caliber, who has employee force of more than 30,000, 40,000, companies like Boeing, companies like TCS, these things will not happen there. Because I just heard what you said, your gym mate has said that it's a bias. It doesn't happen in all the organizations. Trust me, when they hire an HR manager, they hire with a lot of integrity and values, wherein he will not be biased. I have undergone a lot of interviews where HR manager has said very clearly, you can be coming on merit or reservation. We don't need you because you don't carry that kind of skill sets. How it can be addressed, I tell you, India has 30 plus states. We need to bring in a uniform policy making people who are a cross-functional committee wherein a state can be independent when it comes to taking decisions on a lot of other things. But on employment, something like this, Bangalore is looked upon immediately when something happens in Bangalore, because everybody is connected to Bangalore. Talk about US, talk about Singapore, Europe, even a small flood happened in the smallest of the small stretch in Bangalore. People said Bangalore is losing its brand name. That's the kind of value Bangalore carries. Let government create an inclusive committee wherein everybody has a say. Like he heads FMG, I head SIRE, and we have a lot of industry heads who can give a lot of inputs where this bill can still be implemented with some kind of corrections. But trust me, we are Indians first when it comes to the employability. Then we can look at the state-wise. That's what I was meant to say.
That's interesting. If there are any corrections, what would those be?
I think, see, any employability starts from education. So I remember 90s when the engineering colleges were mostly in South India or Maharashtra. I come from North India. I remember, those days where a lot of people from North India used to come, or from other states, by that matter. They used to come and get educated. So the correction could be that you give maybe free education or subsidized education in terms of engineering or the technical courses to the people of Karnataka, where there are opportunities, and make them more employable and come on a platform, get the opportunities as easy as they can.
I mean, interesting. You come from North India and you are a proud Kannadiga. So what do you look at when you recruit a person, and what do you when you recruit a person?
Well, I see the talent. I mean, I see the productivity of a person. And that's very important for any business. First thing first, we have learned this from the ages. Government has no business in the business. And right now it's doing, they are being, enforcing something. So when we do business, we only look into our services, our products, which has to be, of top quality. We have to compete with the market, which is growing. The competition is growing as far as it can go, and we have to be there. So we need to see only the talent, and you need to see the productivity.
And what about
Just
you?
to add to what you said, as a Kannadiga and has spent 30 years in the industry, what I would look at as a criteria for an employment is, definitely, yes, one of the parameter, we will see whether localite or not. That's definitely one of the parameter. But it's all about flexibility, it's all about skill sets, it's all about adaptability, and exactly what Jagan said. Does this person cater to the needs of the customer? That is very important. That comes on top of the list. And if you get a combination of everything, we will employ him. Otherwise, you cannot go by line item. I would definitely give an opportunity to a localite, but does he fit into this bill is what I look at it.
I will share one of my secrets. Suppose I want to build a rapport with a person, or I want to get something done by that person. I will ensure that if that person hails from my hometown, if that person speaks the same language as I, then it becomes a greater connect to get my things done. Does that happen when it comes to a person coming for any kind of a job and speaks the same language, hails from the same town, says, you're a Kannadiga, I'm also a Kannadiga. Will he be able to get that job?
Absolutely. I mean that affinity towards your own people will always be there, right? But at the end of the day, the availability of the skill and availability of the person, right, for the right job at the right time is what definitely matters to us, because it's not my decision. It is in the interest of the organization that we need to take this, right? So, and again, the government, I'm not sure what they're trying to achieve by doing this, reservation or whatever. Like you said, merit and reservation should not be in the same, in the sentence. Either it could be a merit or no reservation.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, see, it is obvious as human beings it happens, but somewhere we need to look at it. And I again come back to the point that it has to be, customer is the king. You have to be customer centric. Like, you have to give what customer wants. So when you're doing that, you need to get the right people for the right job. So that is where, at that point in time, it doesn't matter where you are from, whether you're from Punjab or Delhi or from Tamil Nadu or Bangalore. So you look at the quality and the skills. So at the same time, having said that, you have to promote localites, give them, kind of a priority to them. Maybe we can give some training, something like that, or maybe we can promote the language Kannada in the offices where they can have some speaking kind of a thing, training and all. It can be given.
Well, it's not like the bill did not have exemptions or provisions for you to look at other options if there is a dearth of local talent, with the caveat that you need to provide enough training for the locals here within a span of 3 years. So, I mean, is that not enough leeway that you can play around with?
That's exactly I said. When you do something like this, which is a kind of a decision maker, you need to ensure that you do a deliberation with the stakeholders. I'll give you a live example. I was working with an automobile company. And yes, we were pushing, even our managing director said, we should recruit Kannadigas. There is a certain department called painting divisions. When we went around all the ITIs and diplomas in Karnataka, we were not able to get the painters. We need to go to Maharashtra or we need to go to Tamil Nadu to get the painters. So imagine we have this bill implemented, and how do you expect companies to work out from Karnataka? This becomes a very difficult proposition, and it has to be deliberated. People need to take cognizance of what they're doing it. Otherwise, as Brand Bengaluru, we would go much behind our progress.
Does language ever become a barrier when it comes to recruitment?
Not really. I don't think so. I think all the corporates follow the English as their language of communication across, right? So there is no reason for any of us to feel otherwise.
Suppose there is a person who has studied in Kannada medium but has enough talent when it comes to coding and can actually get recruited, but would language or the fact that he cannot communicate in English, does that become a barrier then?
I don't think so, as long as he can deliver.
Among top cities with employable talent in the age of 18 to 21, Bengaluru stands second, which is 72.18%, and Karnataka commands highest availability of English talent in India. Then why is there an employability gap?
I do feel that, I mean, most of the talent that comes out of the college that do pursue, outside of Karnataka, not just because the availability is less, but the opportunities outside are much better. It may not be within India. It could be most likely outside of India in the other countries. So that could be the reason.
Yeah, the quality of education could be is the problem in India. Infosys had to open, to upgrade their own employees' employability in Mysore. So once we finish our graduation in engineering, we join Infosys. We have to go back to the institute in Mysore, get ourselves trained more to be more employable or increase our output for Infosys. So there has been a gap existing for a very long time in the colleges, the quality of education which is being provided. So this is the first point. The other one is actually the language, which definitely comes as a play, because see, India itself has so many languages, and to communicate we need to have one common language, which is English. So most of the states and people coming from the from villages and all, they face these difficulties, and I think that has to also overcome by you knowing the language or learning the language. I mean, you go and work in Russia, you need to know Russian, right? So we need to
be a Roman when you're in Rome. So that's the theory here. But also when it comes to recruiting people, what do you really look at in case they have this language barrier, they cannot communicate in English? What are the things that you look at?
There is so much goes into the selection of a candidate. Trust me, language is not a barrier. We don't even put in an advertisement saying that you need to know Kannada or English. But imagine a BE candidate. You just met our team inside. If you look at, this is a combination of people from all over India. The primary criteria is, as Manju said, the basic language should be English. But there are organizations, look at companies like TCS and Infosys, even people do not know English, they put them on an induction, onboarding for first 3 to 4 weeks. They teach them basic etiquettes of communication, language. So we have all these tools which people can learn and then start getting onto the main job. But the challenge here is that you just mentioned that Bangalore stands number 2 in terms of the young population which are employable. Today if you see Gen Zs who are born after 2000. They have an immense talent pool. I can be very honest, this particular generation has some kind of a limited focus.
I think we're running short of time, so I'll have to wrap this. But I have my final question, which is a two-part question. One is, when it comes to investments, there is also an investment summit that is scheduled to happen in February 2025. How do you think that will play a role, especially given the recent developments? And the second part of it is that when it comes to these kind of driving investments, what are the challenges that you face?
I'm sure investment is the ease of doing the business itself, right? Ease of doing the investment itself is a challenge, right? So if you can address that, I mean, I know it's a big word or a big sentence, but then it has a lot of intricacies that we need to address instead of, working around the other options that they're taking at this time.
Just to answer your first question, it doesn't really affect the investment. These things have happened in the last 30 years. Things will happen, things will die, but Bangalore as a brand will never lose its charm. Only thing is that we need to be extremely cautious when we are communicating. That's my answer to your first question. The challenges, what you mentioned. The challenges is that when government wants to do something like this, it needs to be extremely cautious. And also, as I said, I keep repeating that it needs to consolidate and include the big wigs of the Bangalore IT industry. That's where you as a government will be seen as a neutral body in implementing this kind of policies.
I'm glad you ended it on a positive note, because we are talking of Brand Bengaluru remaining unaffected, and that's the message that we need to carry as far as this recent development is concerned. Thank you so much. I want to thank the set of guests that we have today. I want to thank the viewers. I want to thank camera persons Kumar and Govind. This is Pratiba Raman signing off for NDTV.